Picture this. You walk into any space, a bustling cafe, a networking event, or even a spontaneous gathering, and an invisible current seems to ripple through the crowd. Heads subtly pivot, conversations pause, and an almost magnetic quietude surrounds your presence. That subtle shift, that silent acknowledgement, isn't the result of grand proclamations or flashy displays. It springs from a deep well of inner strength and intentional grace. Today, we're unlocking the secret behind that effortless allure. 7 foundational Stoic rules that empower you to draw authentic attention without lifting a finger to seek it. These are not gimmicks or superficial tactics. They are time-tested principles woven into the fabric of philosophical giants like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. By integrating these rules, you'll discover how to move through the world with a commanding calm, inspire trust in every interaction, and cultivate a reputation of quiet confidence that resonates long after you've left the room. Stay with us as we unveil each rule in depth, starting with mastering your inner world and culminating in the serene power of unshakable peace. Whether you want to stand out in your career, deepen personal relationships, or simply carry yourself with a dignified presence, these insights will transform not only how others perceive you, but how you engage with life itself. Let's embark on this journey to magnetic authenticity. Picture this. You walk into any space, a bustling cafe, a networking event, or even a spontaneous gathering, and an invisible current seems to ripple through the crowd. Heads subtly pivot, conversations pause, and an almost magnetic quietude surrounds your presence. That subtle shift, that silent acknowledgement, isn't the result of grand proclamations or flashy displays. It springs from a deep well of inner strength and intentional grace. Today, we're unlocking the secret behind that effortless allure. 7 foundational Stoic rules that empower you to draw authentic attention without lifting a finger to seek it. These are not gimmicks or superficial tactics. They are time-tested principles woven into the fabric of philosophical giants like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. By integrating these rules, you'll discover how to move through the world with a commanding calm, inspire trust in every interaction, and cultivate a reputation of quiet confidence that resonates long after you've left the room. Stay with us as we unveil each rule in depth, starting with mastering your inner world and culminating in the serene power of unshakable peace. Whether you want to stand out in your career, deepen personal relationships, or simply carry yourself with a dignified presence, these insights will transform not only how others perceive you, but how you engage with life itself. Let's embark on this journey to magnetic authenticity. Here is your text exactly as you wrote it, with no changes or additions. Rule 1, master yourself first. The cornerstone of a compelling presence is the mastery of the self. Long before one can cast influence outward, the Stoics insist that a person must first turn inward and exercise complete sovereignty over their mind. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When our thoughts are anchored, our emotions tempered, and our impulses guided by reason, we project a natural confidence that needs no embellishment. Self-mastery begins with a simple but profound shift, recognizing the distinction between what is within our command and what lies beyond it. Every thought that arises, every feeling that stirs, is an invitation to choose response over reaction. Instead of allowing anger, fear, or doubt to surge unchecked, the disciplined mind pauses, observes, and redirects energy deliberately toward productive and constructive channels. This ongoing inner dialogue cultivates clarity and composure, 2 qualities that others perceive as calm assurance. At the core of this practice lies an unwavering commitment to honest self-examination. By observing the subtle patterns of our mental habits, identifying recurring anxieties or impulses to complain or compare, we form a deeper understanding of the root causes that undermine equanimity. Once these patterns are exposed to the light of awareness, they lose much of their power. The mind, now free from hidden sway, becomes a steady compass rather than a ship tossed upon turbulent seas. True self-mastery also demands consistent alignment between principles and actions. When we vow to uphold patience, for instance, and then pause amid irritation to breathe and choose restraint, we strengthen the sinews of our character. Each moment of intentional conduct cements the internal belief that we are not victims of circumstance, but architects of our inner domain. This invisible work fosters an aura of reliability. Others instinctively sense that someone who governs their self well will extend the same steadiness outward in every interaction. Furthermore, a mind disciplined through Stoic training turns challenges into opportunities for growth. Perceiving obstacles not as threats, but as trials designed to test our resolve imparts a magnetic quality. Witnessing someone who greets adversity with measured calm and unwavering purpose inspires admiration. Their silent steadiness in the face of strain speaks volumes about the depth of their inner training. In sum, to master yourself first is to cultivate an inner citadel of clarity, courage, and self-command. This disciplined inner life radiates outward, drawing respect and genuine curiosity without ostentation. The individual who wears the armor of self-mastery need not seek the spotlight. Their quiet strength ensures that the spotlight finds them. Rule 1. Master yourself first. The cornerstone of a compelling presence is the mastery of the self. Long before one can cast influence outward, the Stoics insist that a person must first turn inward and exercise complete sovereignty over their mind. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When our thoughts are anchored, our emotions tempered, and our impulses guided by reason, we project a natural confidence that needs no embellishment. Self-mastery begins with a simple but profound shift, recognizing the distinction between what is within our command and what lies beyond it. Every thought that arises, every feeling that stirs, is an invitation to choose response over reaction. Instead of allowing anger, fear, or doubt to surge unchecked, the disciplined mind pauses, observes, and redirects energy deliberately toward productive and constructive channels. This ongoing inner dialogue cultivates clarity and composure, two qualities that others perceive as calm assurance. At the core of this practice lies an unwavering commitment to honest self-examination. By observing the subtle patterns of our mental habits, identifying recurring anxieties or impulses to complain or compare, we form a deeper understanding of the root causes that undermine equanimity. Once these patterns are exposed to the light of awareness, they lose much of their power. The mind, now free from hidden sway, becomes a steady compass rather than a ship tossed upon turbulent seas. True self-mastery also demands consistent alignment between principles and actions. When we vow to uphold patience, for instance, and then pause amid irritation to breathe and choose restraint, we strengthen the sinews of our character. Each moment of intentional conduct cements the internal belief that we are not victims of circumstance, but architects of our inner domain. This invisible work fosters an aura of reliability. Others instinctively sense that someone who governs their self well will extend the same steadiness outward in every interaction. Furthermore, a mind disciplined through Stoic training turns challenges into opportunities for growth. Perceiving obstacles not as threats, but as trials designed to test our resolve imparts a magnetic quality. Witnessing someone who greets adversity with measured calm and unwavering purpose inspires admiration. Their silent steadiness in the face of strain speaks volumes about the depth of their inner training. In sum, to master yourself first is to cultivate an inner citadel of clarity, courage, and self-command. This disciplined inner life radiates outward, drawing respect and genuine curiosity without ostentation. The individual who wears the armor of self-mastery need not seek the spotlight. Their quiet strength ensures that the spotlight finds them. Rule 2. Uphold virtue in action. When we speak of attraction rooted in substance rather than showmanship, we turn to the Stoic concept of virtue as the bedrock of human excellence. Virtue, for the Stoics, is not a lofty abstraction, but a practical path toward harmony with reason and moral integrity. It unfolds through the four cardinal qualities: wisdom, the discerning judgment to know what is truly good; courage, the steadfast willingness to stand by convictions even in the face of adversity; justice, the fair treatment of others without favoritism or spite; and temperance, the inner moderation that keeps excesses and impulses in check. Together, these virtues form a coherent whole, guiding every thought and action toward ethical consistency. To uphold virtue in action is to embody these principles in each encounter and decision, large or small. It requires living according to an internal moral compass, unfettered by the shifting winds of public opinion. When we act from this source, our behavior transcends the ephemeral allure of popularity. Instead of calibrating our speech and deeds to win approval, we align with perennial values that command respect across time and culture. This depth of character resonates more powerfully than any calculated display. True virtue manifests in moments when convenience or comfort tempts us to compromise. In those instances, the individual committed to moral excellence chooses the harder right over the easier wrong. Such consistency weaves an unspoken narrative about who we are at our core. Observers perceive not the isolated choice, but the cumulative pattern. A person whose integrity remains unshaken, whether or not any eyes are upon them. That unspoken narrative generates a quiet magnetism. It draws others to someone whose inner standards shine as a guiding light. What makes this attraction enduring is the self-reinforcing nature of virtuous action. Each act undertaken from genuine moral conviction strengthens the habit of integrity, tightening the bond between principle and practice. Over time, this bond becomes an intrinsic part of our identity, a stable framework that withstands both fortune and misfortune. In turn, others perceive a kind of constancy and reliability that they can trust, especially when uncertainty abounds. Moreover, promoting virtue through action carries an educational power. Without sermonizing or self-aggrandizement, our conduct demonstrates the practical benefits of living ethically: clarity of mind, unburdened conscience, and deep-seated confidence that arises when one knows they have acted rightly. That demonstration invites emulation. People drawn to such examples often find themselves inspired to elevate their standards, further amplifying the field of positive influence. Embracing virtue as the foundation for attraction also liberates us from the exhausting pursuit of external validation. When our motivation springs from a commitment to moral excellence, approval becomes a byproduct, not a goal. This subtle shift transforms how we relate to praise and criticism, neither inflating our ego nor deflating our spirit. We remain centered on the intrinsic rewards of virtuous living, and in doing so, our composed integrity radiates outward. Ultimately, to uphold virtue in action is to become a living testament to the principles we cherish. It is through this steadfast moral presence, woven seamlessly into every word spoken and choice made, that genuine attention is drawn, not by ostentation or artifice, but by the enduring power of character. Rule 3. Listen to understand. In a world where conversations often serve as stages for self-promotion, the Stoic art of listening emerges as a rare and invaluable skill that commands attention without a single boast. True listening is not a passive act, but an engaged discipline, a deliberate shift of focus from our narratives to the voices of others. Epictetus counsels us to be silent with those who speak well of us, learn from those who speak ill, reminding us that wisdom grows not from speaking, but from absorbing what others reveal. To listen with genuine understanding begins with the humble acknowledgement that every person carries a unique perspective, shaped by experiences we cannot fully know. We must cast aside the urge to judge or to draft our rebuttal while another is speaking. Instead, we open ourselves to the full weight of their words, tuning into the subtleties of tone, the cadence of emotion, and the unspoken concerns beneath the surface. This concentrated attention conveys respect and signals that the speaker's thoughts and feelings matter deeply. Such mindful listening transforms ordinary interactions into profound exchanges. When we grant undivided attention, we cultivate trust. People feel safe to reveal more of themselves, confident that their message will be received without distortion. The Stoic listener recognizes that this trust is a gift and honors it by resisting distractions, internal or external, that fragment focus. By keeping our posture open, our mind alert, and our judgments reserved, we allow the speaker's ideas to unfold fully. As we practice, we discover that listening is not merely receptive, but generative. Through attentive engagement, we uncover insights that elude those who listen only to respond. The Stoic listener discerns patterns in another's language, glimpses motivations hidden behind statements, and becomes attuned to the emotional currents that drive behavior. These revelations enrich our understanding and shape more thoughtful, empathetic responses when we do speak. Moreover, The act of listening itself exerts an invisible pull. Observers sense the rare grace of someone who honors another's voice with full presence. This silent magnetism arises not from seeking influence, but from offering a generous space for others to be heard. People naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel seen, and this dynamic shifts the balance of attention. When we finally choose to speak, our words carry the weight of genuine connection. Stoic listening also aligns with the principle of self-mastery. By restraining the impulse to interrupt, to dominate, or to redirect the conversation, we demonstrate mastery over ego and desire for performance. This self-restraint deepens personal integrity and reveals a character unshaken by the need for constant affirmation. Others perceive this inner steadiness and respond with respect, drawn to the calm authority such restraint conveys. Ultimately, to listen with understanding is to recognize the mutuality at the heart of dialogue. Our willingness to receive another's perspective nurtures reciprocity. When the time comes to share our insights, listeners reciprocate our attentiveness. In this way, active listening becomes a silent pact of mutual respect, an exchange that strengthens bonds and amplifies the power of authentic presence. Rule 4. Embrace authenticity over image. Authenticity stands at the heart of true magnetic presence. Stoicism calls us to locate our value within, detached from the shifting tides of societal approval or the fleeting reflections of external acclaim. When we cease performing for others and instead allow our genuine selves to surface, we reveal a depth that commands real attention. This authenticity encompasses our innermost values, our distinctive passions, and the lessons carried by our journey. Exposing these elements reveals a coherent narrative of who we are, creating resonance with those who seek substance over spectacle. Living authentically requires the courage to honor our convictions openly. Far from constructing an image tailored to expectations, the authentic individual speaks and acts according to inner truth, even if that means embracing imperfections or admitting areas of continued growth. This transparency dissolves the barrier between observer and observed, fostering a sense of vulnerability that paradoxically fortifies connection. Others instinctively respect the bravery it takes to stand unmasked, finding in that exposure the invitation to reciprocate honesty. An authentic posture also aligns ambition with purpose. Rather than pursuing attention as an end, we channel aspirations toward endeavors that reflect our core principles, projects that speak to our genuine interests and skills. When our pursuits emerge organically from intrinsic motivation, the enthusiasm we radiate carries a conviction that cannot be mimicked or manufactured. Observers sense this sincerity. They recognize the distinctive imprint of a purpose-driven life and find themselves drawn toward it. Equally important is the alignment of words and deeds. Authenticity demands consistency. The promises we make and the actions we take must spring from the same source. This unity of intention and expression reinforces credibility as each gesture corroborates our stated values. Over time, this consistency cements reputation, not through elaborate demonstration, but through the quiet accumulation of congruent moments. Moreover, authentic presence reflects a balanced perspective on vulnerability. Stoicism does not deny adversity. It teaches that challenges reveal the contours of character. When we share struggles or uncertainties without self-pity, we illustrate resilience in action. This honest disclosure of our human condition becomes a bridge, inviting empathy and inspiring respect. People connect most profoundly not with unblemished projection, but with the resilient spirit that emerges through adversity. The power of authenticity also lies in its liberating effect on both speaker and audience. Freed from the need to maintain an artificial facade, we engage more deeply with our environment and relationships. Others, in turn, release the pressure to perform for our approval, allowing interactions to blossom in mutual openness. This reciprocal release cultivates an atmosphere of trust and genuine engagement, in which attention flows naturally from one authentic presence to another. In essence, embracing authenticity over image transforms the quest for attention into an opportunity for meaningful connection. It shifts focus from external validation to internal alignment, from transient admiration to enduring rapport. In this space, the attraction we emit is not conjured by outward artifice, but by the harmonious expression of our truest selves. Rule 5. Practice mindful presence. Central to Stoic philosophy is the conviction that genuine power lies in full immersion in the now. Mindful presence is not a transient gimmick, but a disciplined orientation of the mind toward each unfolding moment, free from the oscillations of distraction and regret. Within this state of attentive awareness, every gesture, glance, and word carries amplified weight. Others sense this concentrated energy as a quiet magnetism that distinguishes you from those whose attention is scattered. To embody mindful presence is to cultivate an unwavering gaze upon the present scene. Rather than allowing the mind to drift toward past grievances or future anxieties, the attentive individual remains anchored in current experience. This rooted focus brings clarity. You discern subtleties of atmosphere and expression that elude a distracted observer. A serene confidence naturally infuses your bearing when the mind, unburdened by extraneous tumult, engages wholly with the moment at hand. The Stoics held that nature itself moves in perfect accordance with reason and order, and human flourishing emerges when our internal rhythms align with this greater flow. When our attention is unified, our words become thoughtful, our decisions more attuned to reality, and our interactions imbued with a sense of presence that transcends the superficial. In conversation, this means our contributions arise from genuine receptivity rather than rote response. In action, it means we navigate complex challenges with composed clarity. Beyond interpersonal magnetism, the practice of mindful presence cultivates an inner sanctuary impervious to the unrest of unsettled thoughts. By training the mind to abide in the here and now, anxieties about hypothetical scenarios lose their intensity. Waves of internal distraction, regrets of yesterday, and fears of tomorrow begin to subside, revealing a stillness that nourishes creativity and resilience. From this wellspring of tranquility, we radiate an unspoken assurance that draws the curiosity and trust of onlookers. True presence manifests as a kind of silent eloquence. It communicates respect for both self and others without uttering a single syllable. When we show up fully, free from the prison of fragmented awareness, others sense our genuine investment in the interaction. They feel validated, understood, and more open to alignment. This reciprocal dynamic becomes a fertile ground for meaningful exchange, rooted not in performance, but in the authenticity of undivided attention. Cultivating this practice does not demand elaborate rituals, but rather an unyielding commitment to moment-to-moment awareness throughout daily life. In mundane tasks and critical conversations alike, the habit of returning again and again to the present thread weaves a tapestry of poise and potency. Over time, this habitual presence fosters an unshakable center, such that even amidst chaos, your steadiness acts as an island of calm that others intuitively gravitate toward. In essence, practicing mindful presence transforms everyday moments into opportunities for profound connection and influence. It is the art of being fully here, now, of letting the mind's gaze rest undistracted on life's tapestry as it unfolds. In doing so, you become a beacon of clarity, a living testament to the power of focused awareness, and a natural attractor of genuine attention. Rule 6. Show consistent kindness. At the core of human connection lies kindness, an expression of goodwill that transcends barriers and cultivates trust. The Stoics viewed themselves as members of a shared community, each of us bound by a common nature. Kindness, then, is not merely a courtesy, it is an affirmation of our mutual humanity. When we consistently extend consideration and warmth to others, a subtle alchemy occurs. We project an energy of sincere regard that invites reciprocity without expectation. Kindness in Stoic philosophy is neither performative nor transactional. It springs from a genuine recognition that every person we meet carries their burdens and aspirations. We practice kindness not to accrue social currency or to manipulate perception, but because it aligns with a rational understanding of our interconnectedness. In this view, supporting another's well-being becomes an extension of tending to our inner health. The individual who habitually offers compassion aligns behavior with principle, embodying the Stoic tenet that virtue is its reward. When kindness becomes a defining trait, it weaves an unspoken narrative about character. Observers pick up on the habitual generosity and perceive a person who honors commitments to empathy and respect. This perception does not rely on grand gestures or overt displays. Rather, it emerges through the consistent practice of attentiveness and consideration. The steady beat of quiet benevolence reverberates more powerfully than any single act of grandeur. Stoic kindness carries the added power of resilience. By cultivating a disposition that seeks to uplift rather than criticize, we forge social bonds that withstand strain. In moments of disagreement or hardship, the foundation of mutual goodwill makes reconciliation possible. People are drawn to someone whose default posture is supportive rather than judgmental, someone whose presence conveys a sense of solidarity in the shared human experience. Moreover, consistent kindness nurtures a reflective virtue within the giver. Each act of goodwill reinforces the habit of viewing situations through the lens of compassion, gradually transforming our cognitive and emotional patterns. We begin to anticipate the needs of others, not from obligation, but from an ingrained orientation toward benevolence. This internal shift deepens the authenticity of our interactions and amplifies the magnetic quality of our presence. True kindness also serves as a silent leader. Without issuing directives or rallying calls, a kind individual models the cooperative spirit that encourages others to follow suit. This ripple effect extends influence quietly but profoundly, creating a ripple of goodwill in social circles and communities. The attractor here is the example itself. In witnessing compassionate conduct, people often feel inspired to embody similar qualities. In the grand tapestry of social dynamics, kindness functions as both thread and loom, binding individuals together while shaping the patterns of interaction. When practiced consistently, it transcends cultural and contextual differences, appealing to the universal values of dignity and care. This universality ensures that kindness resonates broadly and deeply, positioning the kind individual as a natural focal point for genuine attention. By embracing consistent kindness, we affirm the Stoic belief in shared humanity and the transformative power of virtue. This practice, woven into every exchange, radiates a dependable warmth that draws others organically. In doing so, kindness becomes not only a moral imperative, but a magnetic force that cements lasting connections. Radiate inner peace. At the summit of Stoic practice lies the cultivation of an unshakable inner serenity, an enduring peace that permeates the spirit regardless of external turbulence. When our surroundings bristle with demands, disruptions, or discord, the individual who has mastered inner peace remains undisturbed, like a tree whose roots anchor it firmly, even as winds buffet its branches. This tranquility is not passive resignation. It is an active affirmation of clarity over confusion, steady purpose over flitting impulses. Central to radiating inner peace is the rigorous discernment between what falls within our sphere of control, our judgments, intentions, and actions, and what lies beyond it, the behavior of others, the unfolding of events, and the passage of time. Stoicism teaches that peace emerges when we invest our energy exclusively in refining our thoughts and responses, relinquishing wasted effort on what we cannot alter. In this disciplined stance, anxiety loses its grip, for fear thrives only in the fertile soil of imagined outcomes and hypothetical worries. Inner peace also stems from a perspective grounded in cosmic proportion. Marcus Aurelius observed that our troubles are often insignificant when viewed against the vast tapestry of existence. By expanding our awareness beyond the immediacy of personal concerns to encompass the grand order of nature and the interconnected web of humanity, we cultivate humility and calm. This broader vantage point dissolves self-important agitation, replacing it with a steady equanimity that resonates with those around us. Moreover, the serene presence of a person at peace has a subtle but profound magnetic pull. It conveys reliability, trustworthiness, and a comforting assurance that one's company offers refuge from the storm of ceaseless distractions. Observers sense a field of calm radiating from such individuals, inviting them to lean in and find respite. This influence requires no overt instruction. It is the silent eloquence of controlled breathing and unfettered attention, reflecting mastery over inner turmoil. The practice of nurturing inner peace demands ongoing vigilance. It involves monitoring the internal dialogue and gently redirecting it when it strays into rumination or judgment. It means welcoming difficult emotions without condemnation, acknowledging pain or frustration, without amplifying it through mental narration. Over time, this mindful watching quiets the mind's habitual chatter, revealing a core of stillness that remains constant even amid change. Radiating peace also intertwines with compassion. When inner calm becomes our default state, we are better equipped to respond to others with empathy and patience, rather than reacting from stress or ego. Our composed demeanor in challenging moments models how to face adversity with dignity, inspiring those around us to seek the same centered tranquility in their own lives. Ultimately, to radiate inner peace is to become a living sanctuary, someone whose very presence invites confidence and relief. In offering this silent gift, we harness the most potent Stoic tool for attracting genuine attention, the serene authority born of self-governance. As storms rise and fall around us, our undisturbed calm stands as proof that the strongest fortress is not built of walls, but of a spirit trained to remain at peace. Attraction without effort is not a gift reserved for the lucky few. It is a skill honed through mindful self-mastery and ethical living. The 7 Stoic rules: master yourself, uphold virtue, listen deeply, embrace authenticity, practice presence, show kindness, and radiate peace, offer a roadmap to becoming the kind of person others seek out. Implement these principles with patience and consistency, and you will discover that genuine attention follows from the strength of your character rather than the volume of your voice. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Stoic wisdom. If these ideas resonated with you, give this video a thumbs up, share it with a friend who could benefit, and subscribe for more insights on living a powerful, purpose-driven life. Until next time, remember, the most magnetic force is the calm confidence that comes from within.